Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrente a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre a la app para llevarte ofertas antes del cutoff. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA.
Yeah, I think we're recording.
We're doing it.
I use that. That's how I test.
Is that how you're testing? 1, 2, 3?
Yeah. I don't do that anymore. That's what the kids do now.
This is a leftovers, I guess, because Taheen Tommy.
A.K.A. Ann from St. Peter's.
A.K.A. Great suggestion, Tommy.
How does that name even happen?
Yeah. I think we were
We
talking
talked about Taheen. Yeah.
And then I don't know where the Tommy came from. I should probably try to track some of these stories a little bit of how these names came.
We need like
to be.
our own Wikipedia for the names.
Yeah,
to explain the crap on the show.
Well, I think
Gangopedia.
The suggestion. Yeah, right. We need it for ourselves.
Yeah.
You see our membrane board. We got that back there.
Not even using it.
No.
You know what should have been on that membrane board? Lance is coming in this morning.
So she suggested that since we have this group, we should do a leftover. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
Good
idea.
Lance here.
So let's tell us everything.
I was born. What do you want to know?
What have you been doing for the past 4 months?
Basically, the only real difference to my day is, of course, not doing traffic reports twice a day. And schedule-wise, it did get weird where I get to sleep in and wake up when the sun is out. That's odd. That's very odd. That took a little getting used to. But I'm kind of king of the side hustle and the extra streams.
You always have
of
been.
income. Yeah, just since the '90s. So I do mornings on a country station in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I've done that for like 6 years, I think, which is weird to say. I'm the morning guy 1,000 miles away. And just a lot of freelance stuff, commercials, TV stations around the country where I'm the
I
guy.
thought you charged.
Huh?
I thought you charged.
Oh. Yeah, I do.
Oh, you said freelance. I thought it was freelance work. I knew he'd like that one.
So it's I've stayed pretty busy actually for the most part, just not doing traffic.
Yeah, it's weird when you're.
It's very weird
at a place for so long. I mean, it's not like your identity is wrapped up in it, but there's a part of it that it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's my big question is, have you missed well, I guess you haven't been going in for a while, have you? Have you missed like the mucking it up with the team?
No, because the funny part was I worked remotely until 2016, I think. That's when I came into the studio.
Yeah, I loved it when you started
2016.
coming in.
Yeah, and there was a lot of fun. And then when COVID came along like 4 years later, that's when I started broadcasting remotely again. And so the funny part is I was kind of used to that, really, of not being in the room with people. I'd done it that way for probably 20 years.
COVID.
We're doing leftovers. Tim just walked in.
Some people call it COVID. Some people call it when the Courtney show started.
Both
When
were
the
huge
Courtney show
disasters for the
started.
And we figured it was a great time to start a brand new show when everybody was at home and not in their vehicles. We could really suck.
We could mess up
How
for
was
like
that?
6 months. Nobody was listening.
It was actually really laid back and
Yeah.
cool.
I think
Don't you guys think?
I think it forced us to be very honest because you couldn't just pretend like everything was
Right.
business as usual. So
Yeah.
you had to kind of address what was going on, but yet we wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
We didn't want to sit in here and be like, man, yesterday was a bummer.
We were just trying to make each other laugh every day, I think.
And I think this is part of Courtney's personality anyway, but it was such a weird time for everybody in the country, well, in the world really, that Courtney was just like, we are an escape for people.
Yeah.
And so that's what we were, and that's what maybe still are.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that we talked about the first year that we've forgotten about. But the people that listened, we were, something that they looked forward to every day because it was such a weird time and people were scared.
Yeah, and there was so much weird change going on in the world that, here is a show that they're familiar with, and that's a sense of security.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It
it
like
was
a blanket.
Morning show blanket.
so like looking ahead
Yeah.
for Lance Hildebrand, what do you want to do? Would you like to be back at a radio station like a Hubbard Broadcasting?
Yes.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah, as I said to you earlier, I'll stick around for 1 break, 1 hour, 3 years. It's all good. I'm happy to sign paperwork. It's all good. One of my oldest friends, we started in radio together in 1980. At the time, I was at what was then KSLQ, and he was at KADI, which was 96.3. And
You could just say Rick Wallace. I'm assuming.
no, you may not know this guy's name. His name's Mark Neely. He's a good kid. Went to Parkway West. Works for ESPN now. Does a lot of football and basketball games. And we had weird shifts. I worked midnight to 9 on Saturday night into Sunday morning, and he worked midnight to 8. Same hours at KADI. So we used to meet up at the Noggles on Page. This is This is when 170 didn't exist. It was 725, and the north end of it was at Page. If you were driving along on it, you had to get off at Page. So he lived in West County. I lived in North County. We would make our way to Page. We'd meet at Noggles on Page. And we
Man, I miss Noggles.
I know.
All I can think about is Noggles now.
I know. The
The Black Olives.
The black olives and the what do you call the wavy fries? No, I'm
Oh,
saying-
yeah, waffle.
Yeah, no, not the
No.
waffle. Crinkle fries. Crinkle cut.
fries.
Crinkle cut fries.
Yeah, because Noggles, the Mexican place, had great fries.
Yeah. Well, and they made that
did.
burger
No, I'm just
too,
kidding.
didn't they?
The
They made it-
the Noggles burger was
Noggle burger.
fantastic, and the Mexican food was good too. But we would meet there, and then like 10:30 on a Saturday night, and we'd have something to eat, and we'd drive down to Clayton, where both stations were, and we would meet up. But he was one of the first people who called me up, and he had a great question. He's like, if you never get another job in radio, what would you feel like about that? And it's like, I still don't have an answer to that. But it was such an odd question and a great question. It's like, that's...
Because you start thinking that way.
Yeah.
Because of the way what has become of radio.
Right. I mean, we were talking about this a little while earlier about... where do young people get their start in this business anymore? I mean, when I started, you worked in the middle of the night because if you were awful, which I was when I started, some people say still am, that's, you're on at 3 a.m. Okay, yeah, that guy is on the air at 3 a.m. is not very good. Well, he's learning. So where do people learn anymore?
Well, Chris is learning on the top morning show in St. Louis. That's where he got his start.
Yeah, just listen to my ad reads. Sounds like I'll be learning for the next 5 years.
No, but it is true because I started as an intern.
Yeah.
And those aren't readily available anymore.
No, that's changed. That landscape's different. Yeah, it's quite a different business from when I started, and back then too. I mean, it's funny because I used to go and talk to high schools, and they're like, and I'd say, hey, ask me any questions. Like, what kind of money do you make?
Always the money.
Right. And when I started,
it.
I made $2.20 an hour.
Oh,
that was my
yeah.
starting wage in radio.
I didn't
$2.20 an hour.
I didn't get paid hourly. I was salary,
Yeah.
but it was like $16,000, I think, for the year. My first radio job.
I think there was a time when I made $15,000 as the overnight guy. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
That's what I was making, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden you get your name on a show, and those days of big money radio are over.
He showed up to the party a little bit
A
late.
Yeah.
A little late.
Yeah, because what's weird is, like, age-wise, I'm the very end of the baby boomers. So, like, most of those baby boomer radio guys who we all know of, several, all of us do, they've retired. You know, I still need to eat and make money. So that's the tricky part.
And like, what are some of because you've been the voice of the Fox Theater for so many years.
Long time. That goes back to the 90s, certainly. Yeah, 90s, yeah.
And like locally, so you don't do just Fox Theater locally, you do a lot of that kind of stuff all over the country.
Yeah, the funny part is, like, people say, hey, you do voiceovers, what do I hear you on? It's like, there's not much I do in St. Louis. Like 85 to 90% of it is outside of St. Louis. I do museum exhibits. I'm still on a couple of exhibits in New Orleans at the World War II
World
Museum.
War II Museum.
Meaning you put the headphones on when you go walk around
through.
the thing. Oh, it's just the actual
playing
thing.
everywhere.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
the way that it's a cool exhibit. As you go through it, I kind of narrate you as you go through the whole exhibit. I'm on the road to Tokyo and the road to Berlin. If you ever go to the World War II Museum in New Orleans, the number 2 attraction in New Orleans.
Well,
Have
man,
you ever
do
thought
you do
about doing
accents
any
for
work
those?
for the Lincoln Museum?
I knew that was coming. I was going to say. I was going
love
to.
to.
Brando is he doesn't get paid by them, but it's his favorite thing in Springfield.
Because
the
you
Lincoln
just
Museum.
like it, or because you?
He thinks it's amazing.
It's pretty impressive.
Sadly, I've been there once, but I got there like 30 minutes before it was going to close. So we basically, it was like my wife loves to watch Will and Grace reruns. So it reminds me there's an episode where Grace says, "The Louvre, I ran through that place." We literally had to run through it because they were open for 30 minutes. So I've seen it, but I want to go back and see it more.
You got to see the shows too.
And I need a horseshoe
Horseshoe,
sandwich.
right?
You
He
knew it was
loves
coming.
He loves a horseshoe.
Love a horseshoe sandwich.
Any questions that you have, Tim, for Lance? I know you guys are new friends.
We were talking about pens earlier. I need to take a picture of my
man.
pen drawer and show that to Tim.
We love pens.
Pen pals.
We love pens. We love Barry Gibb and Barbara Streisand.
And I'm just now looking. We love baseball hats.
We love baseball hats.
And
You like this one?
I do. That's like the Cardinals logo with
It's a Christmas.
like mistletoe on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holly?
that's adorable.
Yeah, Emma gave this to me last year. It's one of my
Yeah, I've been
favorites.
admiring that one. That's
Really
nice.
cool.
Thank
That's
you.
a nice
Good
one.
I thought it was dirt.
Little holiday splash.
Oh,
My eyesight is bad.
and I like
Land
Brando's
drum.
head. I thought maybe he was a Tennessee volunteer guy.
No, Rawlings Tigers.
Rawlings Tigers.
Let's talk about your home life, Libby, your lovely wife.
Yeah.
Animals. You've got 2 cats.
We have 2 cats. We had we started back in I think 2000, where a cat that kind of found us, and then turned out she was pregnant and she had a couple of babies, and those were with us for a good long time, and then we went a few years without cats, and Libby couldn't really kind of
make a commitment because
Yeah.
it hurt her too bad when she lost the
yeah,
cats.
she was really hurt by all because they were really lovely animals.
Courtney's
and the
got
funny
a
part
couple
is,
extra cats. if
All
she needs
right,
one.
everybody knows.
The
Lance
funny-
knows.
The funny part is, I was raised a dog guy. We always
Yeah,
had,
me too.
We always had dogs growing up, and then when this whole cat thing kind of came, and she's had a lot of experience prior to me with cats, but my mom was not a cat fan in any way, shape, or form. So that's kind of where my head was.
Yeah.
That was that was planted in my head by my mom. Ooh, cats. Bleh. But when these cats came along, and they were fantastic little pets. I mean, we had one, the last one that was with us. We would take them outside, out of our house in South City, and this last one that was with us would walk along the sidewalk with us. No leash, no collar, nothing. Would just walk next to us down the sidewalks, up and down.
I've never
our
had a
house.
cat like that.
She was amazing.
That's
and then
wild.
Libby had a friend in Fenton who had some cats and kitties, a cat that gave birth to some kitties under a deck nearby, and she rescued him, and Libby went out there and just really fell in love with these 2 that are brother and sister. And the brother is a monster. He's got to be pretty close to 20 pounds. I mean, he's just a huge cat. And but I mean, like super lean, and I mean,
Just strong.
and just big in every way, shape, or form. Long, tall. He stands next to his sister, and it's like they cannot be brother and sister because he's like she's like. He's 1.5 cats compared to that cat. I mean, he's just a monster. But they're a lot of fun, a lot of work. We take them out twice a day. Yes, we got cats, so we didn't have to walk dogs. Guess what we do? We take cats out twice a day.
No,
Where do you
twice.
Where do you take them?
We let it backyard's fenced, so
Yeah.
I try and keep them in the backyard. But Libby will take them out in the front yard, and they generally go about 2 houses in either direction, and they just have their little paths that they go patrol and make sure that everything is where it was when they left it, and then they come back home.
Have they ever left you and were still around but didn't want to come home? And then you had to put cat traps out and
No.
try to get them back?
No, there
And-
was one infamous night where Libby was out doing something, and I took them out, and it was going to rain, and it's like, I think I can get this in before it rains, and the girl cat is easy to get inside, but the boy cat's just wild. He just I'm outside,
And strong too. You can't
And
just
strong.
pull them in.
So I'm thinking, I got this, okay. So then the wind kicks up, and it's like, I got to round him up. And the wind kicked up, and then boom, rain, and then rain, sideways rain. It's like,
Oh no!
So I couldn't get him in. He freaked out because he'd never been in the rain before. So now he's under the deck, and I couldn't find him. But I heard him. It's like, I have no idea where this cat. I can hear him, but I have no idea where he is. So I finally found him. He was kind of up on one of the beams, the support beams, and wouldn't come down. So, and I'm out there in the rain. The two of us are just getting soaking wet. And finally, I got him. I was able to kind of bring him down and get him inside. And I mean, I have not been that wringing wet in ages. I mean, it was like puddles through the house wherever I walked.
Oh, yeah.
Just soaked.
Let me just tell you, Mama Bear, like she just got, one morning, Nick gets up and it was the summer. So we have the windows open because it wasn't the heat of the summer, but it was nice enough to keep the windows open.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's looking around. There are no cats to be found. He looks at the window. The screen is busted. So then he goes outside and he turns on the light, and it looks like a clown car, but it's cats. And just in the yard because they had all escaped, and Mama Bear was one of them, and she just would not come home. We would see her, we'd call her, and she would not come home. It's like, what are you doing? One night we were on the way home. He brings her up. He's like, where is that stupid cat? And they're out in the road. In our road is her eating a carcass off the road. It's like, we have food for you.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff. So we finally got one of those traps and caught a bunch of cats in the neighborhood, and then found there were lots. This one cat, at least 3 times we caught him, and he's like, dude,
what a dummy.
What are you doing? We finally ended up getting her home, but
How
I
long
could
did
see
that
her
take?
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, we thought she was going to be dead because she doesn't have street smart. She's not on the road.
Yeah. I mean, they're both of these cats that we have. The girl cat is pretty sensible. She comes out and it's like, hey, okay, I've got some sunshine.
It's
and
the
yeah,
boy. It's usually the boy cat.
He's just, but the thing is, he's at his heart, he's a scaredy cat. I mean, we know if we let him outside and the trash trucks come down the alley, it's just the sound. They freak out and they run in. It's like, ooh, trash truck, thank you.
Well, I did want to ask you because, being at the same radio station for so many years, like we don't know about other companies that own radio. This hallway is pretty cool, isn't it?
When Tim met me at the lobby and walked me through, and we're like, another hall. It's like, how big is this place? And then, once I'd been here about a half hour, he took me on the tour of the rest of the place. It's like, what? I mean, it's like there's all kinds of alleys and here's a new branch and here's another wing.
But like just up and down the lines of like humans doing radio, all in studios, all the way down the hall. Yeah. It's like if you worry about radio and where it's going, but in this building, it feels great.
Mm-hmm. I can honestly say I've had a blast today, and it's just. I think when you're in this situation and you do this type of radio, the time flew by. I mean, I'd look up, it's like, there's no way that an hour just elapsed. It felt like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun.
Yeah, it was great to have you in today.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, and I appreciate it, and happy holidays to all you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Love you.
Thanks,
no,
thank you,
man. You guys
I love you too.
Oh, Tim, come back. Pen love. Oh, it still sounds bad.